community. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Stanley to the podium to make this evening's final remarks.
Thank you very much. Con, thanks very much for your introduction. Were you welcoming me to the podium with great enthusiasm because they were the final remarks of the evening, or for my remarks? One will never know, but congratulations to all three scholars who made such thoughtful presentations this evening. I want to add my warmest welcome to those already extended to you this evening. Looking back over 50 remarkable years, this is by far the most numerous gathering in the U.S. of the Assist family. Thank you for setting aside the time to be with us tonight and to celebrate with one another the ties that connect you to this program, by which I mean the ties that bind you to the people of the program. Assist is not a monolith, we're not an entity. Assist means the people of Assist. Would you say that with me? The people of Assist. The people of Assist. Not a bad first try. The people of Assist. The people of Assist. All right, a heavenly choir. Well done. Remember that. We might just come back to that over the course of my remarks. While we've gathered to celebrate Assist's past and our accomplishments, in my work, I'm always focused on Assist's present and future. And what I found over the last 18 months, as we prepared for our 50th anniversary year, is that you can't separate our future from our past, our roots from our ambitious vision for the future. Let me return to the past briefly to demonstrate how rich and powerful are our roots and how they continue to inspire our future. It's September of 1975, Dateline, Suffield, Connecticut, and specifically the campus of Suffield Academy. Headline, Bob Stanley elected freshman class president. A heady moment in the Stanley household, I can assure you, even if we didn't make the news ticker at Times Square. With what my mother recalls as a decisive landslide vote, I was granted dominion over my fellow, 34 freshmen. In retrospect, perhaps my victory lied then in what I now understand is called a base. Non-political. Of the class of 79's 35 freshmen, 34 of us hailed from the town of Suffield's McAllister Middle School. My base was further deepened by day student versus boarding student tribal alliances. And that day, we day students prevailed on that fine, warm, sunny afternoon. The evening of my election, basking in the glow, I was faced with a startling realization. There was a difference between getting elected and being elected. Having been elected, what now did I do? I had no earthly idea. I had no experience of elected office, no particular exciting ideas beyond pizza for all, maybe eliminating Saturday classes, and so I had no vision for my legacy. So I thought, to whom could I turn for advice? Well, during the admissions process, I'd been advised that the entire faculty was devoted to the development of each student, and that we shouldn't be shy about seeking out any one of the faculty for advice. They were all at our disposal. Well, I needed leadership advice, and so it seemed logical to seek an appointment with Suffield's headmaster, the chief leader of our academic community. I visited with his secretary, was stunned to be granted an audience, and prepared my list of questions. On the appointed day and time, I was ushered into the office of Headmaster Paul G. Sanderson, Jr., our founder. I remember that visit vividly. He was a warm and charismatic man who had the ability to put a nervous 14-year-old at ease. He thanked me for coming, implying that he'd asked me and that I was doing him a favor. We began seated, but after a while he rose and began to pace back and forth as ideas flowed from his imagination. He had wild, longish, tightly curly hair, and I was sure it was flowing and bouncing as he fashioned a rut in the carpet, moving back and forth. He had the thickest glasses I'd ever seen, and when he turned to look at me, peering quizzically, you knew he could smell teenage baloney a mile away. There was no putting one over on Sandy. I don't remember everything Headmaster Sanderson told me that evening. I was more transfixed by his passion, by his unusual ideas, by the confidence he tried to instill in me. He told me that if I believed, the other freshmen would believe. He said that it was less important what we did, more so that we believed in something and we believed in it together. I didn't know it at the time, but it was an exquisite insight both into Sandy and into how Assist was conceived and birthed. Don't worry about being first. Don't worry about being counterintuitive. Simply decide where your passions lie, and good people, resources, and success would follow. I had another important mentor at Suffield, a man who similarly seemed to have built-in X-ray glasses for the adolescent mind, a man born to work with teenagers, a man with perfect moral and ethical compasses. He was Suffield's director of studies and helped to shape my course selection. And when, after my freshman year, Headmaster Sanderson departed on a prodigious leap of faith to lead Assist full-time, this remarkable man became our headmaster. Ken Lindfors was and is a man with clearly apparent gravitas. His posture and eye contact and biography win most debates before he's even unleashed his considerable oratorical skills. Ken believes in the best of each person with whom he comes in contact. And in parallel, he believes in honesty and candor. The man just tells it like it is. Is that not true, Kenneth? Thank you, Betsy. In our friendship, he's always paid me the compliment of expecting my very best, and in assuming that today's best is simply tomorrow's starting point. Betsy Lindfors is just as impressive. She created warmth and a family feel at Suffield Academy and then in the Assist community. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, she is the lifetime leader in hugs distributed internationally. No mean feat. Well done, Betsy. Thank you. I'm also personally indebted to Betsy because she has long ago forgiven me for not asking out my middle school classmate, Kristen Lindfors. It's no accident that I start with a story about our founding school, as all our member schools are part of our roots and our present and our future. This year alone, Assist member schools granted $6.4 million in scholarships to our students. Extraordinary. Without the belief and confidence and generosity of our school colleagues, there would be no Assist. No scholarships, no scholarship program. With the heads, Assist representatives, and faculty of our member schools who have been able to join us this evening, stand now so that we can recognize and thank you. Part and parcel with our schools are the host families who open their doors to our scholars, taking them in and treating them with the same consideration and warmth that they do their own children. Our host families receive no compensation. Indeed, they have to fund the McDonald's habits of growing teenagers, goodness sakes. And I have files of stories about the relationships between host families and Assist scholars. One that I share with our board today and is very memorable to me is a German alumna who'd gone to Albuquerque Academy and was getting ready for her wedding. And her dad had passed. And she asked her American host father to come to Germany and walk her down the aisle. And yeah, those are the kind of relationships that we help to facilitate with host families and our alums. If you've ever hosted an Assist Scholar, can you stand so we can thank you? So why have I started my remarks by looking backward if my premise is that Assist needs to focus on where we are and where we're going? And you know, when I say assist, I mean oh, that's right, I mean you, I mean us. I look first at our history because I think our roots may be the most important characteristic of our organization. When Sandy founded the program, there were few international students in our schools. Certainly very few, if any of them, were on scholarship. There was not a sense of exceptionalism that these kids wouldn't just attend, they would lead. They'd be outstanding scholars. They'd be key athletes. They'd debate and sing and dance and play the violin. They'd change the conversation in the classroom, and they changed the conversation around the tables of their American host families. What we take for granted in Assist today was startlingly unique when the 13 members of the class of 70 enrolled in 11 pioneering schools stretching from Maine to Florida. They didn't know they were the precursors for more than 5,000 successors who would be transformed as they in turn transformed us. At the root of Assist, we have what might sound like commonplace characteristics, but they've made us the only organization of our kind in the world. We're visionary. We're also competitive and stubborn. We've identified counterintuitive and unusual ways to serve our constituents. We're also ambitious and unselfconsciously impractical. We believe in something more than just efficiency. Over the next 50 years, we have ambitions to serve our constituents uniquely as worthy successors to the Sandersons and the Linfors. Where Sandy entered Western Europe, we've entered Vietnam and Cambodia. Where Ken and Betsy entered Eastern and Central Europe, we've entered the Middle East and Africa. We aspire to attract students from countries where few are going, countries that have imperfect relations with the U.S., countries that are virtually unrepresented in the student bodies of our member schools. We also believe that we can and must further utilize the power of our alumni. Now 5,210 exceptional people from 52 countries. How can we influence the next Christoph Heusgen to devote his or her life to public service? We have with us this evening a number of current scholars and alumni. May I ask you all to stand and be recognized? Ina. Are you kidding me? That's the A-team, baby. With alumni like these, seasoned by a year in the U.S., we have the opportunity to achieve an outsized positive influence on our global village. This program, modest in resources, is not short of ambition nor confidence when we think of how we can be a positive force of change in our world. Christoph spoke eloquently and forcefully of what our world needs right now. And if that's the question, then Assist is the answer. My friends, our mission has never been more important than it is today. Our world cries out for more understanding, more cooperation, more celebration of the ties that bind us. Appreciating and celebrating diversity is critical, but discovering what we have in common is just as important. Discovering what we have in common that transcends our diversity means identifying points of connection and becoming the channel for striving for peace, for something well beyond tolerance, more like genuine appreciation. For replacing I and my with us and our. Assist is doing this. We've been doing this for 50 years, and we're going to do it for another 50 years. What we strive for never changes, but how we achieve it changes all the time as the world changes around us. And of course, when I say Assist is doing this, I mean my friends, you are the people of Assist. You're the scholars who startled us by how you touched us and changed us as 16-year-olds. You're the schools who have invested in these scholars, helping them to grow as they touched your communities. You are the host families who opened your doors to unknown teenagers from distant lands, making them feel loved and welcomed. You're the donors who provided us the resources to create and nurture these relationships, to tilt the world a little more forcefully in the direction of understanding and justice. You are Assist. You're a constant and fair wind in our sails, encouraging us to adapt and contribute, helping us to change the landscape of relationships around the world. As you continue to believe in us, we will continue to aspire to be the finest organization of our kind in the world. We want not only to serve, but to serve to make a difference. Our first 50 years were remarkable, and we hope they serve now as prelude to what we can accomplish over the next 50 years. As I look around the room this evening, and I think about other rooms I've visited over 19 years, I'm confident that the Assist family stands ready to pay its blessings forward, to provide for our successors what we've been so fortunate to receive ourselves. Members of the Assist family, we look to you for inspiration as we make Assist's second half century as significant as our first. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thanks for your belief in what we do. We all believe in the Assist mission. And when I say Assist, you know I mean? Yes, you are. Yes, we are. Enjoy the rest of the evening.